Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. This is one of the live versions of The Inspiration Show. I have a very special guest today who is very well versed in the law of attraction and other universal laws, and is definitely going to be sharing with us a specific and a very effective formula of how we can manifest things that we want in our life on a very consistent basis. Now, guys, because this is a live show, you do have the ability to ask us questions. So make sure that if you do have any questions as we're going through, that you put them in the chat box down below, and we'll do our best to answer them as we go through. So without further ado, let me please introduce my guest, my friend, Mr. Jim Alvino. How are you, Jim?
Oh, Natalie, I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. As you can see, I'm not actually in my my usual office. I'm traveling at the moment. I'm in a hotel in Del Mar in a seminar. So yeah, so on location, but all very good.
That's right.
Now, in the tradition of the show, I normally must start with asking my guests what their story is and what their background is, and what led them into doing their work that they're doing currently. So why don't you start with your story first?
Absolutely, I appreciate that. Well, what got me to this point and got me to interested in law of attraction, and the book that I've written, Explorer's Guide to the Law of Attraction, has been an enduring interest and study of philosophy all my life. I have a degree in philosophy, and the kinds of things that are synergistic with law of attraction I've been studying for many, many years. I don't know if it's something called philosophical idealism, and that is consciousness creates everything. Mind creates everything, and we are that consciousness, we are that mind. We create our life, our future, our destiny. That message resonated with me. I don't know if I chose it or it chose me, but after many, many, many years of study and then gaining an interest in what's called law of attraction, I came to write the book, and I'm doing a lot of coaching and teaching on my version of law of attraction.
Right.
That's the short story.
Right. So I suppose because you've been doing so much work on this, what do you think is the common thing that people do to actually cut the law of attraction off from working in their favor?
Well, there are fundamentally 3 or 4 things, and I call this the law of attraction perfect storm. And the number one magnetic disturbance, if you will, is using language that attracts to us what we don't want. Words such as don't, not, no. So we attract what we really don't want unwittingly, thinking that we are bringing into our existence what we really want, but it's not the case. So we need to be more vigilant about the words we use so that we're not attracting more of what we don't want, and we can attract more of what we do want. Second thing is limiting beliefs. People typically think they're small. They think the game is bigger than they are, when in fact, from my vantage point, we create the game. We are the game. We're the only game in town, so to speak, and we're empowered and responsible to play it at a level 10 if we choose. So thinking you're small, you'll shrink into that vision. Thinking you're big, you'll grow into that vision. So limiting beliefs would be the number 2 magnetic disturbance. Number 3 would be emotional addictions. Emotional addictions are in some ways, they are inherent to us because our brain, a little organ in the brain called the hypothalamus, produces neopeptides with every thought, with every emotion that attach to the receptor cells of our brain. What can happen is we can become addicted to our own biochemicals, and then the brain starts configuring a reality to give us more of the same, more of the same. An extreme example, if you know someone who is angry all the time, that person is probably addicted to the neuropeptides associated with anger. And so the brain starts saying, okay, let's feed your addiction. Let's find you something you can get angry about, or someone you can fight with to feed your emotional addiction, your biochemical addiction. And then the 4th thing is what I call open cycles. Start, change, stop cycles that we leave open. The little things in life that we neglect, the bills that we don't pay, the room that we don't clean up, the office that we don't organize. All of us can relate to these things. I certainly can. And they drain us. They drain us psychically, emotionally, spiritually, and they distract us. They diffuse our energy when, in fact, all formulas for law of attraction begin with focus, deciding what you want, clarity, and then you can go about the steps in bringing that reality to manifestation.
Right. It's very interesting that you refer to energy and emotion. How important a role does that play when it comes to applying the law of attraction?
It's absolutely critical. Law of attraction is rooted in a vibrational world, the quantum world. It's all about vibrations. It's all about emotions. So we have in life exactly everything in life is frequency specific to who we are, to what we emote, to the vibrations that we send out. It's a perfect match. So I say to people, if you want to know what you're vibrating financially, look in your wallet. If you want to know what you're vibrating with regard to relationships, look at your relationships. As a business coach, I will say to people, if you want to see what you're vibrating relative to your business, look at your numbers, look at your business. It's a perfect match. So if we put out negative vibes, we're going to get negative things back. And if we put out positive vibrations, positive energy, it will configure the energy in the universe to bring us back what we desire, bring us back a really nice reality.
Yeah, cool. So we obviously know that thoughts become things. So if we look at the equation of law of attraction, for me it's like, well, if our thoughts and our actions are in alignment with this new reality that we're visualizing with emotion on a daily basis,
yes,
we then resonate at a certain frequency out into the universe.
Yes.
And then by law, whatever is a match, a vibrational match to that resonance of that vibration we're sending out, then comes back to us.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so we know that our thoughts can create those things, and that's the beginning of that process. So if we have negative thoughts that keep coming up for us all the time, that negative voice that keeps telling us why we can't do something, how can we counteract that? How can we? Is there some kind of system or formula we can use to be able to replace them with more positive thoughts?
Absolutely. I have a formula, I have a process in my book called the emotional circuit breaker, for starters. And the very first thing is we need to become aware. Much of what's driving the ship, much of what dictates our beliefs, our habits, and behaviors is beneath the surface. We really don't know. We're often on autopilot. So the very first thing is we have to become aware. We have to become aware of what's going on, and we have to understand the dynamics. We really need to understand, oh, I'm doing this again. Oh, I'm thinking that again. Wow, I just became aware of it. And you recognize that as your predominant thought patterns or your predominant behaviors. That's the beginning. So we understand, we become aware, we understand the dynamics, what's involved, and then we simply, in some cases through sheer will, do the opposite. We need to really get a grip and do the opposite of what we have been doing, and yet own that emotion. I think it's Dr. Joe Dispenza that talks about retiring an emotion to wisdom. I really like that phrase. When we own it, when we own the habit, when we own the limiting belief or emotional addiction, then we retire it to wisdom. Then there are two buttons that I recommend. One's the reset button, which says, okay, I'm aware of that, I understand the dynamics, I own it, so now the reset button is, all right, so what do I want? Get real clear. I've just discovered what I don't want. What do I want? The reactivate button, what I call the reactivate button, is, and what am I doing about it? For me, attraction is always endorsed by action. That we're not just sitting back and chanting Om. I do that, by the way, and expect things to always fall in our laps. In fact, they rarely do. Sometimes they do, but I think that's what's given a law of attraction a bad name somewhat. The anticipation that we simply set our intentions, we chant, and things fall into our lap. So we take appropriate action, and then we very deliberately replace a limiting belief with an empowering belief, or limiting self-talk with empowering the self-talk. And that's the formula. That's what I call the emotional circuit breaker. And that gets people started.
Yeah.
That's the beginning.
I love that as well, because I also recommend the same thing. And I also recommend writing it down. When you're aware of these negative thoughts, even if you use the notes app on your phone, or you just have a piece of paper with you, because when you can name and acknowledge and see what these thoughts are, especially if you're creating a list of them, you get to the end of the day and went, wow, okay, these thoughts aren't serving me anymore. What am I going to be choosing instead? And then when you do your visualization of the day, visualize yourself actually acting from this new thought paradigm. How does that change your behavior? How does that change who you are when you're operating from this more positive power, thought power paradigm? So
Precisely, and I think I love the fact that you're making that list, and I would just add to it, and you probably do this. You've got the list. I would go delete, 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 delete at the end of each day, literally, physically, to delete that limiting belief that you caught yourself believing.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. Now, you have a specific formula for manifestation.
I do.
Which I love. So can you share that with our listeners today?
Absolutely. I'll give you the overview first, and then I'll try to briefly drill down a little bit. My formula for manifestation is focus, that's F, plus action, which is A, plus surrender, which is S, plus T, which is transcendence. So it's FAST, F-A-S-T, focus, action, surrender, transcendence, equals manifestation. So the focus part of it is we absolutely must be clear about what we want. And all of law of attraction is really rooted in a quantum world. And in the quantum world, nothing exists until it is observed. Nothing exists until it's observed. They come into the objects, for example, subatomic particles come into existence when they're observed. Now, if you scale all of this up to the universe we live in, because you want to know, well, how does this relate to me? Then we focus, we bring into manifestation what we observe. And I have called, Natalie, I've called this actually the law of observation, which is underneath the law of attraction. And it's rooted in the understanding of quantum mechanics. I'm not a physicist, but I have enough knowledge to be dangerous. And at the root of law of attraction is something that you could call law of observation. That's focus. Then action. I'm very action-oriented as a success coach, as a business coach. I counsel people that they must take action. Step through the door, and things open up to you. Focus, so what do I want? But action, and what am I doing about it? And then surrender. There is that element of what's called allowing in law of attraction circles, that we do have to surrender over to a higher power, if you will. We have to allow, we have to stop controlling. We need to let go a little bit and let the universe do its work. Let the quantum field, or what I call the quantum heart, do its work and unfold for us exactly the desire that we have put out there. So that's the surrender part. And I use the word surrender in place of allowing. It's fundamentally the same thing, but the notion of surrender brings in a spiritual dimension that the word allowing doesn't necessarily bring in. So I'm all about digging beneath the law of attraction to that spiritual foundation, and that's what transcendence is. Transcendence is acknowledging that it is behind everything, moving us forward, is a higher consciousness. So it's acknowledging the higher consciousness. So you're surrendering, but what are you surrendering to? You're surrendering to the higher consciousness, to a higher wisdom, to unfold the universe as it's meant to unfold for you, given your mission, given your calling, given your person. That is manifestation. That's my formula for manifestation, in a nutshell.
I absolutely love that, because that's what we're doing with the law of attraction. You know, we are eliciting the help of the greater consciousness, of God, of the quantum field, of source, whatever you want to call that. But that's what we're doing when we're applying the law of attraction, because by becoming this vibrational match and having these things come back to us, and these gifts that are being sent to us from that entity, we are helping to create the opportunity for the universe to send us, these great ideas, these opportunities, these chance meetings that we could never have planned for in a million years.
Exactly. We can't control it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, so that's what we're doing with law of attraction, and I love how you're saying that we're acknowledging that.
Yes.
We're surrendering to it, and we're acknowledging it, and we're realizing that is exactly what the process is. And I love that, because it's a part of the law of attraction that most people don't realize or don't acknowledge.
That's right. That's right. In fact, I take it one step further, because my message is essentially consciousness creates everything, and we are that consciousness. We are the creators, actually. We are the creators of our lives, our future, our destiny, and we're empowered not only empowered but responsible to do it. So the fact that the reason the law of attraction can work in that way is because we in fact are consciousness. We are it. Yes. We are.
Awesome, Jim. Now we are running out of time. So before we go, I would really like, if you can, for you to share with the viewers, like, where we can find out more about you. I know that you have some gifts for us as well. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely, I would love to. You can find me. You can find me at loainnersanctum.com. loainnersanctum.com. And once you go there, you can pick up a free report called 6 Fundamental Truths for Making the Law of Attraction Work for You. And Natalie, I have a special offer for your viewers, and that is if they choose to join any level of my membership community. I have 3 different levels: entry, intermediate, and advanced. Then it's going to be 50% off for your viewers. So that's a really terrific deal for them. They do have to plug in a code. Do I need to share that code, or is that something that...
Yeah, if you could, that would be great.
Okay. So if some of your viewers feel that they are entry level, they're just beginning to learn about the law of attraction, then they should, the code that they plug in would be I for inspiration, I show E for entry level. I show the letter E. If you're intermediate, you've been using the law of attraction for a while, but it's manifesting sometimes, not all the time, and you want to do better, then it's I show I. I show intermediate level. And if you're really cranking it up, you're a master at this, you're an expert, but you want to learn more about the underlying neuroscience, quantum physics, spirituality of law of attraction, then it's I show A for the advanced level.
Perfect. And what about your radio show, of which I was honored to be a guest recently?
Yes. Recently interviewed you for my radio show. It was a terrific interview, and I also, before I tell my radio show, I want to say that I love what you're doing for children. I love the new generation mind movies for kids. It's absolutely brilliant, and I'm loving it. We should talk more about that on my show again. My radio show is Tap into the Quantum Heart on loaradionetwork.com. loaradionetwork.com. Tap into the Quantum Heart. This week, I have an interview with Dr. Amit Goswami, who is a major theoretical quantum physicist. We had a good... Yes.
Well, thanks again, Jim. It's such a pleasure having you here, and I know that we'll be spending a whole lot more time together as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Really enjoyed it. It's an honor. Thanks.
Awesome. So, guys, I encourage you to share this video. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. I also encourage you to download our Inspiration Show app. It's a free app, and it means that you can watch the shows on the go. You don't necessarily have to be in front of your computer. And make sure that you put your email in the box here on this page. I would love to send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's actually valued at $87, and I would love to send it to you for free. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.